They say you should not judge a book by its cover, but being a gaming peripherals channel, a more accurate saying should go like, don't judge a controller by its looks, because speaking from experience, you just might miss out on something that would really surprise you. Hi, what's up everybody? I'm Edward, and with that quote, I'm referring to these CHOC 2.0 controllers that PBTails sent to me for review. Under normal circumstances, I would not buy a controller with this kind of shape because, frankly speaking, they don't look comfortable at all, and the shoulder buttons are placed unconventionally. They look more like a weapon than a gaming controller. But since they're free, thank you PBTails, I thought why not? And man, am I glad that I gave them a chance. So hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel, and let me tell and show you how these oddly shaped wireless controllers exceeded my expectations. Oh, and if you watch on to the end, you just might earn a chance to get one for free to try it out for yourself. Starting off with what's in the box, you'll be getting the CHOC 2.0 controller along with a USB A to C cable that measures at 1 meter long. Based on what I read, the new 2.0 controllers have a revised D-pad and will no longer come with an extravagant looking carrying case. Whether this is a good or bad thing, I'll leave that to you. Either way, parts of the flashy and eye-catching design language still carries over to the 2.0. There's also a multi-language manual that is surprisingly quite detailed for a third-party product, but who TF RTFM anyways? So let's move on to the controller. Taking the controller out of the plastic tray, which this one by the way is the metal version, it feels surprisingly heavier than it looks. Weighing at 133 grams, the metal shell version is not heavy per se, especially if you compare it to the regular controllers or the Pro controllers, but it just has that good bulk and sturdy feel to it. The all-plastic version weighs at 85 grams and feels considerably lighter if you compare them both. When you have them side by side, the metal shell one feels more sturdy and of higher quality, but that's just my perception. Either way, both are considerably well built and comfortable for extended gaming sessions. The angular and pointy shape that gives the CHOC 2.0 controller a modular appearance, to my surprise, didn't cause any discomfort at all, which I honestly thought at first it would. But personally, between the metal and the plastic version, I find that the all-plastic one is slightly more comfortable for some reason, but at the same time, I like the build and the sturdy feeling of the metal one. But since it's more likely that you would just choose one instead of both, I think it comes down to which graphic or design on the controller you like more. Now, for the buttons on the CHOC 2.0 controller, I have to admit that they initially looked too small for my taste, as they're just about the same size as the one on the official Joy-Cons. But the funny thing is that after I actually started using it, the size didn't really matter at all. And no, that's not what she said. I think the reason that it wasn't an issue is mainly because of the layout of the analog sticks being placed diagonally to the buttons. Because even with my large thumbs, pressing the tiny buttons wasn't difficult like it was when I was using the Joy-Cons. And as for the shoulder buttons, that's probably the strangest feature on the CHOC 2.0 controller. It surprisingly works. I mean, for me, it took a while for me to reprogram my fingers' muscle memory to not hit the larger R1 button when I want to press L2 and R2. But when I finally got that sorted out, I actually kind of like this layout more. With this layout, you can use one finger to quickly press either shoulder button without needing to move as much. But the downside is that it might not be ideal for games where you will need to quickly press each button at specific intervals, say like for example fighting games. Moving on to the analog sticks, there isn't much to say here as they feel pretty much identical to the ones on the official Joy-Con. There's a very tiny dead zone in the center, but most won't probably notice it as this type of analog stick have really short travel distance. I personally don't mind using this type of analog sticks with shorter travel distance, but they do make performing micro adjustments such as aiming for a headshot slightly more difficult. But other than that small drawback, I find them perfectly fine for every other game that I have tested. So the only thing left is whether they will start drifting as easily as the Joy-Cons. As for compatibility, the CHOC 2.0 wireless controller is designed mainly to be used with the Nintendo Switch, but will also work wired and wirelessly with PC, Steam Deck, mobile phones, and Raspberry Pi devices. Though, when using it with PCs, it will show up as an Xbox controller, but the buttons layout will still be using Nintendo's layout, so that's something that you should keep in mind. And something about the buttons that I forgot to mention earlier is that there are a total of 16 buttons, excluding R3 and L3, and unfortunately, they are not programmable. But there is a 17th button, turbo button, that can be used to enable the turbo function for any of the buttons via a simple and easy to remember button press. And the button is also used to adjust the vibration strength of the super duper strong dual vibrators in this controller. I mean, listen to this. They're very loud and very powerful. And the great thing is that even with these powerful motors set at level 2, the battery still was able to last me around 18 hours from full charge. And that's an extra 2 hours than the official stated battery life. It's also worth mentioning that there's a built-in 6-axis gyro function, but it's lacking the NFC feature for reading amiibos. So having spent a good chunk of my time playing Tears of the Kingdom, along with some PC and mobile games with PBTail's CHOC 2.0 controller, I have to say that for $43, not only does this controller function equally as well as a normal controller, it is also surprisingly comfortable, affordable, extremely portable, and stylish. Put simply, this is the perfect controller for my on-the-go gaming needs. It's kind of like 8BitDo's Lite 2 controller, but with more style and comfort. The only suggestions I have for PBTails is maybe include a tiny plastic stand with the standard package so that we can also display it when not gaming, as they also do look very good. And maybe also offer a different model that is slightly thicker with traditional Hall effect joysticks so that there's no need to worry about drifting. And since you have made it all the way to the end of this video, if you're subscribed to this channel and live in the US, UK, or Thailand, PBTails will be sponsoring a giveaway so that I can choose one of you to experience the CHOC 2.0 controller for yourself. I'll leave the details for the giveaway in the description and on my Twitter, so check it out there. Alright, hope you guys find today's video helpful, and thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button as it will help this channel a lot more than you know it, and I'll see you again in the next video. Ciao! They look more like a weapon than a gaming controller. Oh shit!